Good morning to one and all. Today we are discussing the topic in fifth unit security. The fifth concept in unit 5, that is nothing. Fourth concept, ma'am. Sorry. The fourth concept is nothing but cloud infrastructure security. Okay. What first of all, if we have to learn cloud infrastructure security, what does it mean exactly? Why we are going to develop the cloud infrastructure develop security. Okay, infrastructure, first of all we need to know exactly what is a cloud infrastructure security. Infrastructure security, it is a more highly relevant to a customer of infrastructure as a service, and it is similar consideration should be given to the service providers. Okay, platform as a service and software as a service, these environments are required since they have ramification to your customers threats and risks and compliance management. What I meant to say in the sense, infrastructure security, it is more highly relevant to the customers. It is more highly relevant to the customers of infrastructure as a service. It is a similar consideration. The main contribution should be given to the service providers, like platform as a service and software as a service. These circumstances must and should required since they have ramifications to your customer threats, risks and compliance management. Okay, so in this cloud business model, we are using some deployment models like public, private and hybrid clouds. Okay, so which is very crucial role on service provider interface service. It's nothing but a service delivery model, service provider interface. It is exactly what it means in the sense service delivery model. What we have to highlight in the sense here, we want to apply to public and private clouds. Okay, so when discussing about the public cloud, the scope of the particular infrastructure security, it should be a limited it should be a limited. Once again I have to repeat these. In the purpose of cloud business model, we are using some deployment models like public, private and hybrid clouds, which is orthogonal to the service provider interface. What in the sense service delivery models. Okay, here we want to highlight the point of cloud infrastructure security that apply the cloud business models like public and private clouds. When we are discussing a public cloud, the scope of infrastructure security, it should be limited. So the layers of infrastructure that beyond the particular organization control into the hands of service providers, into the hands of service providers. That is, when the responsibility to a secure infrastructure cloud, it is transferred to the cloud service provider. Once again I have to repeat this point, listen carefully. When we are using the public clouds, ma'am, the scope of cloud security infrastructure, it is limited to the layers of infrastructure that move beyond the organization control, in the sense that move beyond the organization control into the hands of service providers. That is, service providers, you know already the service providers, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, like these trends we are using here. Here, when the responsibility to a secure infrastructure cloud, it should be transferred to the cloud service provider, in the sense CSP, in the sense cloud service provider. It is based on the SPI delivery model. What model? SPI delivery model. SPI in the sense a service provider interface, SPI, service provider interface, a delivery a model. The main concept of cloud infrastructure security, in the sense it is more highly relevant to the customer needs of infrastructure as a service, and it is similar consideration. The main contribution it should be given to the service providers like platform as a service and infrastructure as a service surroundings, since they have ramifications to your customer threat, risks, and compliance. The management, how it will be, they take some threats, risks, and compliance. Okay, so in this cloud business model, we are using a private, a public, and hybrid clouds, which is orthogonal to the service provider interface delivery models. This is the main key concept of cloud infrastructure security. In this concept, cloud infrastructure security, we have studied about first one is a network level, and the second one is a host level, and the third one is application level. These levels, how we want to do the secured cloud at infrastructure side, we are using some platforms and service providers. Okay, how it will be. Now we are studying, when looking at the network level of infrastructure security, we are studying about when looking at the network level of infrastructure security. It is important to distinguish between public clouds and as well as private clouds. Okay, what I meant to say in the sense, it is essential to distinguish between a public cloud and as well as a private cloud. With a private cloud, there are no new attacks. There are no new attacks and vulnerabilities or changes in risk specific to this topology. Topology in the sense structure of a network, that information security personnel need to consider. They considerably personally. Okay, what I meant to say in the sense, although your organizations like IT architectures may change with the implementation of a private cloud, may change with the implementation of a private cloud, your current network topology will probably not change. Your current network topology will probably not change significantly. If you have a private extranet in place, listen carefully, in place of you, if you have a private extranet, for example like a premium customers or a strategic partners, okay, for practical purposes we have to take in this. For practical purposes, you probably have the network topology. If you have the network topology probably for a private cloud in place already. Okay, listen carefully these points. While you are listening, it's able to understand. While you can't able to understand the key points of what I am saying to you. Okay, if we have a private extranet in place, for example like premium customers or strategic partners, and for practical purposes you probably have the network topology. If you have the must and should the network topology for a private cloud in place already is there, the security considerations, what considerations here we need incurred, the security considerations if we have today apply to a private cloud infrastructure to. First of all, if you have apply a private cloud infrastructure, and the security components if you have already placed in that, or it should have placed okay, are also necessary in the sense necessary needs for a private cloud and operate like in the same way. If you choose to use a public cloud services, listen carefully, if you use the public cloud services, we are changing some security requirements. What we are changing there, security requirements we have to changing, and it will require changes to your network topology. Okay, what I meant to say in the sense, what is exactly, if you choose to use a public cloud services, we are changing the security requirements will require a changes to your network topology. You must address how your existing network topology interacts with your cloud provider's network topology. What I meant to say, if you choose once a public cloud services, we are changing security requirements. It will require, okay, to your network topology. Otherwise, you must address how your existing network topology. First of all, you must address your existing network topology. It interacts with your cloud provider network. It interacts with a cloud service provider network topology. Here we are studying about there are 4 significant risk factors in this use case. What we have to study about, if you have to study about 4 significant risk factors, okay, we are studying about this. First of all, if we have to look at this diagram, it is very easy to understand how we want to security provided for the cloud service providers or service provider interfaces, how we want to delivering the models for the security purpose. Okay, in a cloud. Okay, let us see this diagram. This is the internet. Okay, internet service providers. This is nothing but a wide area network. It is distributed to all. These are nothing but routers. How the routers will transfer the network from one place to another place. It's like a dual homed internet connectivity will be there, like BGP4. And coming to the heartbeat of firewalls, this is the firewalls symbol. Okay, these are computers. Okay, this is the domain service, how the service will be provided from cloud to this routers and these services and firewalls. And we are going to the security management like firewalls, network system and public key infrastructure. It is based on user accessing applications via internet. Okay, how the security management. And coming to this one more, intranet. Within an organization, we can study about this intranet security zone also, like desktops, it corporate and users, how it should be transferred the information from one to another. And here look at this DMZ security zone 1, and coming to this corporate portals security number zone 2. Here we are using some servers, some emails, web services and e-commerce content, like we are transferring some Amazon shopping also, whatever you need. If you have to purchase at online shopping, the servers, e-commerce like content, the viruses, what it should be. Here coming to the corporate portal, servers, internal web databases, how it will take the database. We are storing some records internally in web database applications and backup. Okay. And coming to the extranet, we are using some extranet in a wide area net. Virtual private network will be used for business partners. And coming to this, they are here extranet. We are using some security zone 3. In servers, we are using some web services and e-commerce services and database. Okay, we are storing some collection of records and data, and we are accessing some users applications also. Here, this is the complete cloud infrastructure security we are providing like this. It represented as a diagrammatic representation how it follows. Okay, now we are studying about there are 4 significant risk factors in this use case, like a network level. We are studying about one by one what is what exactly. Okay, the coming to the first network level, first significant main role to ensuring the confidentiality and integrity of your organization's data in transit to and from your public cloud provider. What it says in the sense, listen carefully, ma'am. Listen carefully. We are a generic network topology. Already we seen in previous diagram the generic network topology, that is a network topology, a collection of connection of computers like resources. Generic network topology for structure of a network for a private cloud computing. The diagram shows you a generic network topology for private cloud computing. Here we are studying about to make sure that the confidentiality and integrity to and from we are transferring the data your public cloud provider, how it will be. Now we can see the very key point of this, some resources and data previously confined to a private network are now exposed to the internet, and it shared the public network belonging to a third party like a cloud provider. Okay, here already we seen some private extranet private cloud, how it will be. Here we are studying about ensuring data confidentiality and integrity. Some resources and data previously resources in the sense some readily available materials and whatever the data we seen previously, we are confined to a private network, or now we expose it to the internet and we want to share a public network. We want to share the data to a public network, it belonging to a third party cloud provider. Okay, this is the concept of the first significant role. And coming to the ensuring proper access control, like nothing but authentication, authorization, and how it will be auditing and to whatever resources you are using at your public cloud provider. Listen carefully. At your public cloud provider, since some subnet of resources, listen carefully, some subnet of these resources or maybe even all of them is now exposed to the internet, or we can say an organization we are using a public cloud faces, it is a significant increases in risk to its data. Okay, what I mean to say in the sense, some subset of these resources or maybe even all of them, listen carefully, is now exposed to the internet. We are now exposed to the internet. An organization we are using a public cloud. An organization using a public cloud, it faces a significant increase in risks to its data. Okay, this is the concept of ensuring a proper access control, and what the authentication and the correct person will access that particular information we are identify and accessing the ownership of the data. Okay, and coming to the ensuring the availability of the internet, what we meant to say, ensuring the availability of the internet, what exactly to make sure that the availability of the internet, we are facing resources, resources in a public cloud. In a public cloud we are facing resources that are being used by your organization. What I meant to say, we are facing resources in a public cloud, public all everyone can watch that. We are facing resources in a public cloud that are being used by your organization, or it have been assigned to your organization by your public cloud providers, what I meant to say in the sense, listen carefully, coming to the reliance on network security, it has increased. Why? Because of an increased amount of data or an increased number of organizational personnel. Okay, now depend on externally hosted devices to make sure that the availability of a cloud provided resources. What I meant to say in the sense, if we have to take some reliance on network security, it has increased because an increased amount of data or an increased number of organizational purpose, now we are depending on externally hosted devices, okay, to make sure that the availability of a cloud provided resources. So we are using to make sure that the availability of the internet, okay, we are facing the resources in a public cloud that are being used for by your organization purpose. And coming to the last four significant risk factor, the fourth significant risk factor in this network level we are studying. What we are studying, important point here, listen carefully, the last one, that is nothing but replacing the established model of network zones. What we are studying, replacing the established model of network zones and tiers with domains. What I mean to say in the sense, with domains, this is the fourth significant risk factor, replacing the established models. We are replacing, already established models will be there, we are replacing the established models of network zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. We are studying about this zone 3 zones, extranet, security provided, and corporate portals, how it will be the zones with we are using, and tiers with domains. Okay, what I meant to say in the sense, this last significant factor, what does it mean exactly in the sense, the established isolation models, we are established the isolation models of network zones and tiers also no longer exist okay, no longerly exist in the public infrastructure as a service and platform as a service clouds. Okay, what I meant to say in the sense, the established isolation models of network zones and tiers no longer exists in the public infrastructure as a service and platform as a service clouds. We are seen for years, since we've seen so many years back, network security has relied on zones. Network security, it relied on zones such as intranet it versus extranet, and we are development some versus like productions to segregate some network traffic for improve the purpose of security. Once again, I have to repeat this, replacing the established model of network zones and tiers with domains. What I mean to say in the sense, the established isolation model of network zones, what zones? Network zones, there are no longer exist in the public infrastructure as a service and platform as a service clouds. So in many years, past years, we have studied about the network security. It has relied on network zones such as intranet versus extranet, okay, and we are development like versus of the production, the corporate portals, how it will be to segregate the network traffic. We are segregate the network traffic for improvement of the security, for enhanced the security. We are development the versus of production to segregate the network traffic. Only this model we want to show that the data must be confidentiality, to make sure that data confidentiality and integrity. So some of the resources and data previously confined to a private network are now exposed to that internet, and we want to share some public network belonging to a third party a cloud provider. Okay, a third party a cloud provider. Listen carefully. Here we want to learn about data confidentiality and data integrity. Data admission should be a confidentiality to provide the integrity in the sense the maintenance and assurance of consisting data to enter its network cycle. Some resources and readily available materials and data, whatever we are stored in the previously, we are confined to a private network, or now we are supposed to expose it to the internet and we want to share it a public network, like we are belonging to the a third party a cloud provider. These are the four significant risk factors included in this network level. In further video we have to study about what is host level, what are the cloud infrastructure security we are provided for the host level, and as well as the application level. Up to now, thank you, ma. Regarding any doubts this topic, can you please contact to me?